Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of... I'm starting to realize that right before I actually disappeared for some time, or, was here the whole time, haha, I actually surprisingly promised quite a number of things would, make a regular comeback, and then they all had one release, and that was it. So, and one such thing is, of course, something that people have been, people have been campaigning for me to continue anyway, for quite some time. And quite frankly, I wouldn't have minded if somebody had covered this further. I'm kidding. Actually, to be perfectly honest, episode 4 did win me over a lot more than originally. And I will say that my memories of the Gacha Shipper have definitely been clouded by Bad Girl's Little Boy, which I don't know if someone has re-uploaded that one, but I guess technically speaking, by the same logic that leads me to review this, I would also have to continue if it is available. So that's going to be fun. But we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about that today. Because today we actually have, the decent show to worry about. As I said before, it is My Tiny Human, episode 5, Till Death Do We Part. Yeah, everyone's saying no now. Yeah, as far as talking about toilets or something, I know where I want to put that particular show. But that is neither here nor there. The toilet is in reference to as to this comment here, talking about Elliot being backwards because the scientist in last episode is Ureva, which is basically Avery backwards. Is that going to be a significant connection between the two? No idea. Yeah. Never thought I would see episode 5 either. Well, within the 3 weeks in between the last review or the 3 years before the one before that. So I guess, once again, a long overdue event. So let us partake. Without further ado, on with the review. Oh yeah, forgot if this was copyright or not, so, something. Actually, wait a minute. Is this a typical intro where it starts off normal and then it slows down halfway through it? I want to hear it. It is. Of course it is. All right, then. Also, Adele's name is sort of smudged out there. That was meant to be an E there if people couldn't see that. Instead of Adel. Oh, okay, so we're opening up once again right after we left off last episode. For those that, well, I say for those that don't remember, most of you who wanted to see this have seen this show many, many times. My Tiny Human episode with the intro, yeah, it kind of shows a little bit, not gonna lie. But yeah, for those of you that weren't, that aren't as into this series as half the people probably watching this right now, or the VOD watchers, yeah, this is right after a scene where it turns out that Jamie, who is Marcy's mother, I believe, helped out Elliot's parents, the two escape basically, or tried to escape anyway. I'm sort of blank if whether or not that's he made it or not, but they helped Elliot escape. We had a little bit of a Harry Potter homage scene where it's oh yes, what's the name of the baby? Was it Ellie or something? Similarly to chapter 1 of Philosopher's Stone, where it's oh, what's his name? Howard, Harvey? But yeah. Anyway, so Marcy has just spilled the beans on what she's been doing this whole time, and because I guess Jamie has had a bit of a change of heart over the time, she's said immediately she has a plan to put into motion. So I think we're going to get a little bit of a repeat of that. And sorry, I've once again forgotten the voice I gave all these characters, so this is going to be interesting. Also, yes, another scene on the two sets of ears from one of them is pierced. Very much so. I still don't know how people design characters and then don't realize, yeah, I'm putting an extra effort into here. I don't quite know. Although I was speaking to Monet today, so I guess that's not an unfamiliar phenomenon for me to, have been exposed to. Anyway, yeah, this is the last bit of the dialogue before. This is the same scene, but we're gonna continue it, which I do like a bit more than just opening up and meet like cold opening, or maybe not more, about the same amount, I think, because the advantages and disadvantages to it are, of course, partly in the efficiency of the video, but also so it flows a bit more naturally. It's a bit like, like a last time on My Tiny Human situation. Like, although I've said before, this is the internet. Most people are binge watching this. It is not as much of a priority as you would think for, so like a TV show. But I understand why it's there, and I guess when these episodes were released, I imagine there was some sort of gap between them. These are the types of gacha videos that I imagine could be cranked out relatively quickly based on how they've been edited and based on how Taming the Bad Boy, which is, structured similarly to the other show that the Gacha Shipper was known for. Um, yeah, I can imagine that. So I don't know how. For those of you who were there, how much of a gap was there between episode releases? Because that might factor into it. Anyway, like I said before, we've already seen this particular dialogue. I can give up easily. I have a plan. And now here's the... Oh, I thought we were going to go straight into the actual scene, but no, it's just like ripped off from the other video. But then I was like, I thought during editing it would have been like, they would just like had like copy pasted that and put it in. That's what I would have done in that scenario. If you still have like the negatives or something. By the way, I unmuted the video, so there's no like missing music or anything. So I don't know. Yes, it is good luck ridding your body of mucus. Yeah, well, according to Akira Toriyama, Krillin is able to breathe through his skin, so who knows? Who knows about that? Oh, okay, so now we get music. Ah, yes. The timing of it. And it's so die with each review of this series. That was the same scene as last episode, so it shouldn't be dying more just yet. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Anyways. What now, children? Oh yeah, that's right. Adele was shrunken down into human form, but she's older than both of them. Okay, yeah. All right then. Can you get this little leech off me? Why are you holding on to her? I've been good, and I think I deserve ice cream. But everyone won't let me at least have a spoon. We're gonna have to start the grammar counter again, aren't we? It's like in love. I think some people just, for some reason, think that certain words are written together when they really are not. I don't know. Yeah, it's like a child in this scene. See, this is why I give the reminders of this to people, even though you've all seen this show. Well, not all of you, half of you. You know your mission. Just give him the ice cream. Leech means like we're draining the substance. Leech is a blood-sucking worm. I think she did mean leech. Yeah, leech verbal, leech noun. I don't know. Don't understand, do you? I mean, that is true. You have to put a certain like cap on rewards, so they're not just like demanding themselves. But then again, this is not a parent-child dynamic. This is they are actually dating at this point, so not the best interaction to open up with. Anyway, is that a kid or a femboy before I talk? I think kind of both. I forget if they mentioned exactly how old Elliot is. Considering Avery is, I think, 16, I'm going to say he's roughly around the same age. So, yeah. Just add sound effects. Yes, that is also true. Also very true. Please, the love of everything. Yeah. I mean, see, here's the thing. Because I know that there's certain editing softwares. I don't remember if KineMaster's one of them. You can see the KineMaster watermark. Actually much more hidden because of the background, but in the top right corner, it's still very much there. I know that some people told me that there's like one audio track or pre-existing music that you can get from a certain thing and not being able to import your own audio into certain editing softwares. This is why I need to actually like do the project setup we're gonna do like, years ago and just like actually experiment with different editing softwares people have used over the years. I just need to take like, just like one episode of a series or something and just like try like, a scene in each of them. That's what I'll use Average Academy for, actually, because that's although, should I try syncing it with voice acting? I don't know. Yeah. Not a very good editing software it is. I know it says, is it? I know. Mm-hmm. Track, you're welcome. Yeah. I mean, of course, there is the other thing, is that even if I were to use that one, like, that one software, I probably would still put like the audio into Audacity and then just export one track from there with the sound effects personally, but I don't know. It depends on whether or not I want to actually cheese it and use my external knowledge of editing softwares, or I want to go full on attempt to actually do this. I mean, it really depends. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we did just start. Like, they're probably going to be a while because we just start like working on as you said. No, which should be a surprise. But right after Fallen Angel season 2 review, we then but then I got to talking about what to do next, and we decided that it's time to once again like draw focus back onto the next Mutant Girl episode, of which there was a lot more done than I remembered doing in terms of audio syncing. I think there is still one character we need to cast, actually. So if anyone wants to be like a maths teacher for like 3 lines in the entire series, please let me know, because you can get an easy cameo out of that one. But other than that, I think it's just going to be like the editors beware, because you're going to get stuff now. We apparently like had like a lot of the audio was recorded before, but yeah, that's what I mean. Oh wait, is this the what you for? Doesn't seem like. I think you might be like a little bit like further behind or something, or the chat or the stream delay has this hasn't caught up or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, you two go hide. No, you two go hide in case. Yeah, there we go. You got it. To Stuka's comment. Okay. Oh, I see. Wait, so what are the age gaps? Did I? There are a ship in this series, so I bet it isn't that young. You have very problematic age gaps. I hope that's not the case. They're not just a ship. They have been dating since I think like the 3rd episode or something like that. And that was confirmed that they were still dating like in the last one. So yeah, they are an actual couple at this point. The ship is sailing. Why are plants so good at math? I believe we're setting up for a punchline here. I believe there's some sort of punchline that's coming up right now. But for the life of me, I don't know what it is, so please enlighten me. Hello, sweetie. Just a mutual crush. Well, it was a mutual crush until they talked about it, and things happened. Is around the same age as that. Yeah. So conclusion from someone who's watched the show: Elliot is around the same age unless he isn't. Thank you for that one, Jax. Oh, because the plants have square. That's good. Yeah, all right. Okay. I would have said something like division or something for that specific instead of counting, but sure. Like maths, I mean. I offered to drive Marcy here to hang out with you, and she got mad and told me y'all are in tough times right now. So I thought I would enter myself instead and have her wait by the car, presumably. That's the only logical conclusion to that sentence. I brought you some sweets. Ah, yes. You know what the standard mother procedure, right? My child has argued with their friend. I'm going to take sweets to said friend. All right. You want to talk about it, Martin? Oh, there it is. Well, I mean, I say there it is. I know she has an ulterior motive of being here, but if I didn't know any better, I'd be like, okay, I suspect a little bit less now. Ah, Galaxy Chocolate. I used to have Galaxy Chocolate rather frequently. Because back when I wore braces, it was one of the things that was easy, like, even to chew on. But yeah, I haven't had it in ages. I miss it, honestly. Who was it? Wow. Wow. Wow, Elliot. I've seen lemmings with better survival instincts than you. Although, to be fair, actually, I just have to say that immediately the whole, like, lemmings and cliffs thing is a myth, but whatever. The, the joke needed to make sense. But yeah, here we go. His bag was asleep for a second. Nice editing. Yeah, you better hide. Yes, of course, in case something happens. And when you hear someone actively partaking in a conversation and an unfamiliar voice by the door, you think to yourself, oh, now's the perfect time to re-enter the scene before I've been given the all clear. Well, just as well that Adele hasn't done anything yet. Yeah, I'm with you, Avery. Like, yeah, like this face here summarizes this perfectly. What Avery's face that she's pulling right now, because there's a mixture of actual concern, but also the gritting teeth of like, if you survive this encounter, you are not surviving me. Elliot? You were only a baby last time I saw you. Okay, surprised you gave yourself your identity away if you were planning something, but okay. Jamie? Wait, if Ed was a baby last time he saw her, how does he remember Jamie? And why are we zooming into a non-centered point between them? Oh, okay, yeah. If it had been like if you'd like centered like the zoom in on Elliot's face and panned in towards him like that, that would have been a perfect shot. Maybe even like rule of thirds it so it was like actually like somewhere over here basically. Do something along those lines, but no, you had to go with like the center right before they get cropped out of frame. I think maybe part of the reason why was because they wanted to get like both Avery and Elliot's face. But if that's the case, that would have required Elliot to have taken a further step forward, or be a little bit closer so they can actually be properly centered in the shot, I would say. Although then again, this is also one of the advantages of the very long and inefficient method of recording all of your characters on separate backgrounds, because then you can decide how far they walk, and if you don't want to, you can correct it much more easily. So I know that was probably not it was not on the creator's mind, but again, depending on how quickly these are made, I would say it's probably not too much of a stretch to just retake the shot if that were happen. But yeah. Remember, Alessi parents talked about it. So his parents gave him a full physical description of Jamie the last time that he saw them when he was extremely young, and he has recalled that and immediately interpreted that the first woman that matches said physical description, especially after passage of time, is said woman. And he guessed that correctly. Is that what you're telling me? Is that the process we're going for here? Anyway, don't be dumb, it's right there. Miss Lincoln, is there any medication you're taking or anyone taking care of you? Okay, yeah, and again, this is implying that she is significantly older than she appears here. Although maybe it's kind of like Marinette's grandmother, or maybe it's like Gina or something, where she actually doesn't look that old. For a grandma, I mean. But also, yeah, but Avery once again is selling this a lot on her face, like the performance of it all as well. But yeah, excuse me? I have a Karen haircut. You do not want to go down this avenue. Doesn't even take meds no effect. I thought also that Elliot responded and is now saying goodbye as well. He's not helping at all. I feel really bad for Avery. She's trying her best, and the one person like has no survival instincts whatsoever. Whatever, Avery. And and also Elliot, who's apparently imaginary, who said goodbye to me. What's that face? Thank you. I can't do anything myself, so I'm glad that you were able to to defend me once again. I think that's also another the real issue with like Elliot as a character, because when characters get too passive like that, it's very easy to not easy to destroy their likability entirely. Because yeah, like, in other episodes, Elliot has, yes, he's broken like several boundaries or something, but that was mostly like in name of like doing something nice for Avery. Even though it's incredibly like a misguided attempt, you can see what he was planning. In this one, he's already been exposed to the difficulties of this. He's already seen what happened to the two exterminators, who, by the way, are still down that well, I have to assume. Hopefully not starving. And he's now decided to be much more difficult about that and to cling on to her and pretend that he has been good enough for ice cream. Not gonna lie, I'm going a little bit off Elliot in this episode. Good April's eyebrow. Yeah. So, yeah, Elliot's characterization is down the toilet, as is implied by his backwards name. But Avery's facial expressions are definitely up, much like that eyebrow. I'm to go finish my essay. Okay. I mean, sure. Therefore, not so great, Mr. Buzz. You take your meds. The solution to all my problems. Well, I think the implication was more that she was hallucinating as a result of not taking said meds. Not much of a case of like, oh, something was wrong as like a minor problem of the day. Hey, Avery? Adele's still hiding? You never gave her the old clear? Oh, that's right. Adele, you can come out now. Me and Adele are messing around and she got stuck. Oh, yeah, sure. Adele's the one that was, that started this all and got stuck. Yeah, of course. Again, I don't know how old the toilet guy is, but even without that he's definitely seems to have, regressed in maturity for this episode. I don't know. Maybe there could be some psychology to that. It could be the psychology of he had to grow up super fast because he was on the run, surviving completely on his own. And the second that he has someone that he can depend on, he reverts back to essentially more of either the age he's supposed to be or the age that he was before those changes started to actually happen. I think. So maybe that's what was going on here. But regardless, it's like that. Like I think if that was the intention, I think it's been taken like a step too far, because it's not like the danger has passed completely, nor will it ever. It seems. If he relaxes a little bit and goes back to what his personality would have been otherwise, then yeah, fantastic. But this is a little bit too much. Anyways, in what? Not the toilet. We've been talking about toilets this whole episode. Don't be a toilet. Hello? Can I get some black coffee? Oh, it's a garbage can. Okay. How did you get stuck in the garbage can? Me and Elliot were playing tag on the counter, because that's the thing we both want to do at the ages that we are. And I jumped to tag him and he dodged. I thought in my gacha pitch meetings I pointed out that hide and seek was already a game they would not probably wanted to play on by themselves. But I don't know. Also, yeah, I guess since that point, my cousin definitely turned the age of those muted girl characters, and still wanted me to chase her around. So I guess anything's possible there. Ah, okay, so. I'm going to guess that Gacha Shipper did not have a convenient art program to remove the background. Because for some reason that took me until like 2023 to get one of those for myself, so I can understand that honestly. But I just wonder why you make it a plot point in the episode. I'm going to like put it onto the screen that well. I think this is more of a case of, well, like in like YouTube videos where it's like, oh yes, see this thing here or something like that. It's not like actually to scale, I'm guessing. But yeah. I guess it would have to be big enough to fit Adele inside of it, so it can't be that much smaller than it is depicted, but yeah, I don't know. So if it's just like it's winter, that might be because all of the clothing that Avery can give him is oversized, but I don't know for sure. You have all those flippy open garbage cans, so once I fill in, I can't get back out. Actually, with those flippy open ones, that was, I guess you can't like push it down afterwards, but because you can try to lift it up, and assuming that the other side does not hit you in the back of the neck or something like that, you can technically crawl yourself out a little bit. But yeah. Oh, you're in a plane right now. Oh, isn't that ironic? I stopped watching this video because I went on planes a lot, and now here we are. Well, there you go. I mean, obviously you have to go on like flight mode in a second, so thank you for joining briefly, and hopefully you get to enjoy it wherever you land. Whenever you land, I guess. Nearly just pulled a cat. You mean just like Cat the animal or Cat Valentine specifically? Either one would sort of work here. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah. Well, can you get me out? It may be empty, but it stinks in here. Oh, I guess, yeah, cruel. Yeah, see, you should have said, like, hide and seek instead of tag, because then it makes more sense that you would go inside a place that you would actively struggle to get out of anyway. Because in tag, it is not an advantage to confine yourself to a space like it is in hide and seek. Oh, there it is again. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah. Honestly, if Adele weren't already inside the trash can, I would throw Elliot in there immediately. I would pull a full-on Tom Dupin and just toss the cake in for the millionth time. And that's the second Rakazet reference I've made in this episode. There you go. Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. So they're able to split apart so the bin is like clearly massive compared to them. I thought she couldn't like get out because like it was going to press on an egg or something. No, if that's the case, you can very easily knock the empty bin over, crawl through like a cat flap actually, or just like lift it up so you don't have the same issue. If you can fit through the hole once, you can fit through it again. That's just physics. So what exactly are you still doing in here? Why are you stuck exactly? You've taken no initiative to get out, except for calling for help. You're actually better than this, Adele. Why are all the humans getting, like, character regress this episode? We never mention this. Never. It smells so bad in here. Calm down, we'll be out soon enough. All we gotta do is absolutely nothing. And meanwhile, I'm gonna reminisce about back in the time when I was a wolf. Because that was a thing, by the way. We can see this message, but I don't know. The only other one I saw was the one that I already responded to, so I don't know. Ah, yes. Eureka, this is your new assistant. Adele, this is one of our new scientists. Adele has been working with us for a year, so she'll help you learn how to use the machines. She's also been working on her own projects, so maybe when Yaltu can work on her project as well. That's awfully presumptuous. That's kind of, it's got to be like, if he's a scientist, that's got to be her call, because depends on like who has credit on the paper and like and how many junior researchers you have and all that stuff. So, careful about that. Anyway, a child's worst nightmare, nothing. Yeah, if either of them were actual children, I'd be like, yeah, of course. But otherwise, I'm saying this: just push or lift the lid off the can. Yeah. If anything, actually, you know what? You know what? Forget what I just said there. Those lift up like bins, basically. Like, yes, you have like the flap that's meant to, like, to put stuff in, but you can still take that off. That's very much removable plastic, so you can change the bag inside of it when you take out the trash. So there are several ways around this. If you need anything, let Adele know. Or her problem now. Adele, I'd you need anything, let workers know. That's a sentence. I hope great outcomes from you two. Another, also a sentence. Also, yes, you are right. The two is repetitive in this scene. So yeah, add 1 for the 2, 2 for the first one, like, I do need help, and then 3 for I hope. I hope good things from you. Which, actually, now I think about it, sounds like a Spanish translation. Yeah, because in Spanish you would say, like, espero grandes logros de vosotros dos. Which, espero being I hope in this case, and that just, like, makes sense. But, because you don't need an extra, like, I hope for or something like that. See, yeah, like, kind of weird. I don't know if, I don't know if Gacha Shipper speaks Spanish or not. I have no idea. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes. Once again, don't cut the whimsy music at all. we believe you're hiding a human. It sounds like the intro of Wii Sports, for crying out loud. We have the right and a warrant to search your home. Also, I thought you didn't have, like, dreads in Gacha Life 1. Wow. Okay. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide. Come in. I talked about Volver yesterday, like the film I mentioned with I mentioned where there was, like, where they didn't conclude in a way that I was expecting, because they just didn't, like, address the family of or the friends of who would ask about, the man that got stabbed in it. Yeah, same film, by the way. The main character's sister at one point hides their mother, who she believes is a ghost at that time. Like I said, this film was wild. And because she's not ready to talk to the other sister, whenever she, like, appears to visit, she just goes like, "How are you, Raimunda?" Like, very super loud, "Get on, Raimunda!" So that the mother's time to hide. And tried to make it look natural, but she's, like, very super, like, panicked in the face. But I think it was my favorite moment in that whole movie. I guess it's kind of like very World War II. Yeah, that's that is true, and it also, like, stems from an oppressed minority hiding themselves, and other people who are hiding them pull them in places. Yeah, that's true. Those purple things they're holding, I'll get a shot of them and see. There's letting in some exterminators. I thought there were only 5. What, 5 for the entire world? Or the city? Or, like, in the jurisdiction? Why would you think there wouldn't be more? What are you talking about? Lucky none have came in yet. It should be came or have come. Wait, I have an idea. I'll retreat to the kitchen, allow them to enter at their leisure, and hope they just stand like lemons at an open door for some reason. Yeah, it's not just the characters. This whole episode feels like it was written so much worse than the others. Human and believe in Gasolina are each other's polar opposites. I mean, but I don't know, potentially. Yeah, the conflict and, like, the oppressions from there comes from, like, essentially the equivalent of turf wars. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, I see what you mean. World War II is World War II if it's not. Okay, having seen that context, I'm like, Sure. All right. Get in the bag. I can't take this anymore. I don't care, suffer. I forgot the smell of old wolf food. Oh, so only old wolf food specifically? What do you mean? You mean that the human food is also entirely different? Obligatory human food? Which, yeah, I'm sure people. You know what? I'm thinking actually. No one said anything about missing Harvey in the Fallen Angel season 2 discussion. Which honestly, I think is to the series' credit. That doesn't like rely on the comic relief that kind of like that carried like the early investment of the show for some people. So you know what? Yeah, I think the situation. I think Benji did this better. I mean that's certainly one way of looking at it. Yes, 100%. Okay. I forgot the smell of old. But yeah, I said that already. Bro's dead. Ding dong. Ding dong. The bro is dead. Okay, sure. Ah, there you are again. That plane of yours has either got really good Wi-Fi or you're not on airplane mode right now. I'm getting suspicious at this point. or it hasn't taken off yet. That's also possible. Stone is at the bottom of the well. They're chill. I'm tossing what was down the well for them. Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. They'll probably need more than water bottles eventually, but for now, they should be okay. I'm sure Avery will come soon. Get in the bag. Okay, so I have to wonder about this because again, the scale between the wolves and the humans is somewhat inconsistent. Because you see like Elliot, and he looks child-sized compared to the wolves, you know, as we have come to expect. But child-sized usually means like, waist high in this instance. But if you think about him being like waist high, like hold on, I gotta visualize this. Okay, so say that I'm like trapped down in the garbage can, right? Do like mimes or something. Whatever. And so that means that basically it's like twice the size of me. So you think like her arm length would be like double or something. So, but she has to like, and so if I can't get out from down here and I fell a significant distance, assume that the roof of it is like further up here, whatever. So if I like reach down basically, and my arm comes down to like here or whatever, that's like my human arm span, and that's probably why they can't like climb out. That's reasonable. But then Avery, whose arm length is presumably double that, not being able to reach down into her own bin. How tall exactly is this bin? Again, my arm span is, I guess, probably about the same height as the same like half of this, like half of my height or whatever. I don't know what the rough like measurement is. I found that out in like elementary school for some reason, but then I like forgot about it. And then we actually know what they say. Your arm span is like equivalent to your height, basically. So that's why. So assume that means that twice the normal arm span is Spanish already like half your height. I guess first arm span is like it would be like twice of their height. So basically, that would mean that the bin is as tall as Avery herself. How does she even put anything inside? Does it have to like reach upwards? How even did Avery and Elliot? Well, not Elliot because he was thrown in. How did Avery climb into the bin in the first place, and also not be able to climb out at the same time? You see how none of this like adds up? If a bin is like twice the size of her and she was to get into it, so it just fine. The lid should not have stopped her, whether or not the space or through like whatever like physics she's able to use to get out. So yeah, I don't know. None of this adds up. And meanwhile, also, I guess another physics thing is able to lift two humans who I guess together would probably equal roughly the same weight as her, give or take, because, all bodies are different. Um, but if we assume like perfect calculations, they should weigh the same weight as her. And is able to lift them up with one arm like that. Going back to Volver, they had a whole issue where it was like physically impossible. Like they should have been able to be able to move the body by themselves like that. Human bodies are very heavy for other humans. So even like in a wolf scenario, or I guess maybe this is like wolf strength coming into play, that might also be possible in this scenario. I don't know. But also, and now we get into like the actual meat and potatoes here. Yes, it must be strong case the use. So yeah, fair enough. If that's the case, then sure, we can attribute that to a presumed wolfish strength. Fine. Now we get to the real issue of her plan here, which is that she's doing this while knowing full well that like at her front entrance there are 5 exterminators who I guess were patiently waiting to come in for no apparent reason with a warrant to search the place as they are currently doing, and decides that now is the perfect time to suspiciously take out a massive pile of trash, which I guess, in all fairness, is about the size of the bin that she has. So maybe that's not the suspicious part in itself, and try to walk directly past them. Her, the one who's suspected to be hiding humans inside of her house, carrying something that could easily fit 2 humans in it, away from them. Are you kidding me? Yeah, just taking out the trash. I do have a backpack. Oh yeah, and putting on a backpack as well, and changing clothes as she's like very obviously going on an outing. Yeah, all of that is also true. She was not wearing that exact same outfit when she let them in, so that's also suspicious. My shift starts in like 8 minutes, and I guess I live 5 minutes away because otherwise I would be taking out the trash before I go to work. But okay. I need to check your backpack. Have you checked your backpack? Skeeta da da backpack. The guard says, "Oh, in that case, carry on." I was half expecting it, not gonna lie. If this made sense to the Gacha Shipper at the time, I would have been like, yeah, no, of course you would have said, carry on. But no, to the credit of the exterminators, at least they're thinking things through, unlike the main characters throughout the entire episode. These aren't the droids you're looking. Yeah, not the droids you're looking for. Honestly, that armor sort of gives Stormtrooper vibes anyway, so that's kind of accurate. Yeah, move along. Do not make sounds. Guys, come on. I just said last episode that I was actually, this series was like getting properly good, and now I immediately have to take that away. Come on. I can just feel like I would say that's, oh yeah, I'm sitting characterization, but I'm not, because he wasn't characterized like that before. The inspector's bangs, they stand out so much. Don't know. I mean, clearly they, this is another case of forgot to remove the highlights for the hair. That's for some reason the default in Gacha. There's another mysterious gem. Yeah. I have the Herb of Practice enough for that one as well. You know what I just thought about myself? Another thing that could have been done instead of doing a collectathon is would have been like, trying to find like, either like a specific spell or something, like how to pull it off, basically. That'd be another way of doing it. Whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, see, look at the size of them. They're not even. Yeah. When they kneel down like that, they actually don't look like they're half the size at all. Yeah. Who screamed? Who out of your, I guess, canonically similar voices screamed? Me. I said he bit my tongue as I was moving it and flicking it with that for no reason. Yeah. In all fairness to Avery, yeah, I guess like the strength thing does sort of work because she was strong enough to lob Elliot into the trash can in the first place. Not only strong, but also has good aim. Elliot, I get that it was an accident, but you can't make a sound. One mistake and just follow my lead and sneak around. Be careful not to make a sound. Anyway. I can't loose you. Well, yeah, but yeah, well, the only thing loose on here is your bin, apparently. I guess we'll camp here for tonight. Avery go for food, and Elliot and I will go get sticks. I'm not going to show it in the Dell onto it anymore. Yeah, it shouldn't shrink down too much, but yeah, a little bit. That's true. Let's go. Oh, and I guess now that I'm actually okay, so yeah. First of all, you see there, confirmed they are dating. But you know, I said before about the psychology of Elliot, and like part of his regression may have been due to the fact that he was, you know, that he was in a comfortable place for the first time in ages and had someone he could like, you know, depend on, basically. Well, yeah, actually, yeah. Come to think of it, now be the chance to, I guess again reverse that and see if he actually changes at all at this point in the episode. Now we know they're going to be on the run for a bit. We are at the halfway point of this episode, by the way, so that's possible. Anyway, so Avery told me y'all are dating. I think she might have said that in earshot of you, but yeah, anyway. I should have just stayed quiet. Now she's mad at me. I'm never gonna get my ice cream. What food can you find in the forest? I just rewatched a Gumball episode about this, ironically enough. But yes, that is exactly what you would do. I mean, well, not necessarily like, you know, use the fire on the animal, but you would find like some way to hunt it. And in all fairness, this is a species based on wolves. So I think so. Oh, so you just landed on Maui. I see. Okay. Gotcha, grammar counter. Hey, at least you're not going into the hundreds like with What's Up Unicorn. Oh, here's another one. You're forgetting the reason why she's mad at you. She didn't want you hurt. Well, yes, there's also that, but also, you know, she's mad at you for being a complete idiot all day. Is that too? She loves you and doesn't want to loose you, like she said before. This is not new information. You're just repeating what Avery herself said. I mean, your hours. Well, there's two more. There's Lucio and there's Yor. Oh, another Yor. Okay, I guess you're right. You two make a good couple. No, they don't. What evidence do you have they make a good couple? Like, so far, all you've seen of them is like, yes, they're worried about each other. Fantastic. But like, you know, they've been at each other's throats most of the time before this anyway. Or like not seeing like eye to eye. She called him a leech for crying out loud at the beginning of the episode. I don't know about them being a good couple from Adele's perspective so far. From our perspective, we know that they have had their wholesome moments. They've also had their incredibly troubling moments. I'm pretty sure this is the series that has Elliot being immobilized by Avery a bunch of the time. Pretty sure that was this one. So even then, I guess, you know, the ones can't really say anything like that. I pulled the red flag clips up at this point. I normally would, but Alex Myers has gone into some hot water lately, and I don't want to endorse that, so I'm going to pretend like I did that for right now, until the heat dies down. Every good couple goes through hard times. True, that is very true. The hard times don't usually encapsulate the majority of the times, but they do happen. Any signs yet, other than that kiss and worry? Did they actually kiss in front of Adele? I don't remember them kissing in front of Adele at any point. They might have done. But if so, then Adele would need to confirm that they're dating in the scene, because she would already kind of like know that. But if you two do anything, yeah, so see, if you two do anything, I don't want to hear it. I assume that they mean like, you know, more than kiss. I guess, I bet, depending on the person, if you're Caitlyn from My Street, for some reason, kissing is off the table, but I don't know. Never! Well, we have enough sticks. Let's get back. I would not sleep that near the fire, nor, like, leave it that close to all of these vines. Oh, no. Of all the forest backgrounds to use, why this one? That's gonna set fire to all of you. Adele is right there. You will set fire to the plains. They'll destroy your bodies and brains. Oh, leave nothing but your chart remains. That's better. Ah, okay, so immediately we're going to break that and go into a scene where they're going to do something within the vicinity of Adele. I hope you better be quiet, but I know that song's by Adele. That was the reference. I did that on purpose, don't worry. Yeah, exactly. Really? What do you like? Even if you think she's asleep, that's still you could have like walked away. Not to mention also that Elliot's head is near the fire. I would walk away on principle for Adele and also for your own safety. Do you want? I mean, I know that Elliot has been ridiculous this episode. I don't want to burn his scalp as punishment. Move away! Get a zone of forest or something. Not really a room, per se, but a zone. Get a zone. There you go. On the plain grass and fire. Yeah, that's not plain grass. That is full-on roots and vines. But nothing about it could be used as like an upper, like an inside a tree hideout area. There's more of those in Gacha. Amy, wake up, it's gone! Oh, great. I've searched everywhere. Oh, wow, she's fast. Yeah, strong and fast. Ah, okay, so he's, I guess, onto the site. He's gonna pull on a full Tarzan. Adele could have been traumatized. She's been more traumatized by Edda's this vanishing, just when they're on the run as well, but yes. With one of my CPs, I didn't put a fire in the background. Good. Good, I would hate for there to be a fire there all the time. Is this? It's how I got here. Oh, wow, I was kidding about the whole Tarzan comparison, but no, that's just a thing, yeah. Where'd the plane come from? Well, from what I remember, like humans are effectively aliens in this world. So they had to arrive somehow. So I'm guessing this is more supposed to be like some kind of spaceship as opposed to just a regular plane. Unless humans live like on the same planet as wolves and just through air travel got here, crossing through like the realm or something like that. I don't know. But yes, the plane or ship is exactly what I thought in this case. Does suggest that his parents never actually made it out after all. Let's go back to town. You're still being hunted, idiots. Just because you had an emotional breakdown doesn't mean you can go back out of nowhere because on a whim because you say so. Oh, hello, Anne. Sorry, the first thing you heard was me yelling at the screen. Oh, so the ship crashed almost 19 years ago. So there we go. In case you were wondering about Elliot's age, apparently he is older than Avery, pretty sure. Let's just go back to town! But they're still hunting us. Town! There's the play in the roof. Yeah, there you go. New adaptation. How's my stream going? I am currently crashing out because this video is definitely a letdown from the last episode. But aside from that, just peachy. And into Avery, so it's about the same tall height of the plane. Which makes the bin even worse, now I think about it. I gotta get to Tashi Station for power converters. And I was going to the Tashi Station. Tashi Station. To pick up some power converters. That was a Shmo Yoho reference. And surprisingly, they made like a very long video out of that, just like the whole Yoho. But yeah. Yeah, so almost 19 and Elliot being 18, that sort of tracks. Born in 2004. So I guess we've got a timeline for, for when this happened. And also, now I think about it, means that the Gregorian calendar is a thing, and therefore Jesus existed in this world. That just opened up a whole other can of worms, actually. How long do I stream? Until the task is done. Until the video has been reviewed and all things that have been said have been said. We're about 2/3 of the way through, for reference. But depends on the actual video on the actual day, because not every video requires this much analysis to fish out exactly what's going on or how many things are wrong or great about it. It depends. But yeah. Anyway. I need to ask Congress for military. These creatures obviously want war. They refused arrest and therefore they want to battle. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Vivian, don't. You're dismissed. Let's go. Do we need to talk? What's your problem? Don't have one. This is about your brother's matter, isn't it? Brothers should have an apostrophe, by the way. That's another one for the grammar counter. I guess also lowercase t and also no question mark. So all of those. No, it isn't. Sweetie, please. Which country are you from? That's a complicated question, but the simplest answer is UK. Anyway. Don't use that card on me. Especially not here. Much like with Adele, I prefer we get a room first. You make it really hard not to. Just tell me what's wrong. I don't want people to know we're a thing. There is no one here right now. Who is going to find out? But there are cameras. The cameras will know. Not that problem. Please, just tell me what's wrong. Yeah, cameras. If there's no cameras, they're not worried about, if you're not worried about, PDA, you should be worried about being called sweetie in the middle of an unoccupied room. Unless we're going to Aiden DeBess and there are other people who are off-screen watching this thing happen. If that's the case, I refer back to the PDA situation. They're going to figure it out. My nephew could still be alive. On the recording, they said they hid him. What if he's still out there? Has to be. Let's go home and think more on this. We can't just go to a random planet and start shooting up the place. You know what? Actually, this depiction here, I do like this because it shows the different methodologies between a scientist, which I assume is what Dr. Puggles is, and a military commander. Where the military commander is more likely to go for the aggressive term first, as a response to the unknown. The scientist will want to investigate first and draw proper conclusions. And this is always the case where, the military usually has, all the funding for science stuff, and the scientists have no concept of that, but they're also, beholden to, the demands from military a lot of the time. It's a classic motif that happens a lot in real life, and actually having the two of them be a couple and represent that like a dysfunctional unit of establishments. I actually really appreciate that connection. What's my VTube model? I don't use it for Gacha review a lot of the time because it glitches out. I say it for other stuff, for example, the MLP reviews every now and then. I have to do more of those, actually. That's a good reminder. Maybe next stream. But yeah. I say can fix some grammar. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I see applied correction here. here I was complimenting the video, but then yeah. That being said, even that's wrong because the word planet should not be capitalized if that's the case. So even the correction to the mistake is itself a mistake. I miss you, Dad. I miss you, Mom. I don't want to be here. I don't belong here. You said I could go back to Earth one day. Well, I mean, they did leave you the means of transportation to go back. I don't know. Whoever Edit could have had a family. What do you mean you never realized he could have had a family? What do you think? You just sprouted out the ground from nothing? Do you think humans grew on trees? What are you talking about? Of course he had a family. Whether he knew said family is another question, but, you know, considering that he didn't die in infancy before he was able to take care of himself and be self-sustaining, he must have been looked after for a certain amount of time beforehand, and none of the wolves need to do it, so yes, the logical conclusion is a family. What even is that question? Like, what? Oh, God. And also, another thing, that is your boyfriend, apparently. You've asked him 0 questions about his life. Like, it's never even came out, like, at all. Usually, like, first date questions, do you have any siblings or whatever, comes up fairly frequently in conversation. Not all the time, but some of the time. You think if these two were actually a good couple, as implied by Adele, they would at least talk to each other and had some amount of opening up. And that was rich coming from me, but even so, when I'm in a relationship, I void my lack of small talk rule on principle because, you know, I am dating that person. They have a right to know, like, for crying out loud. Anyway, it is so bad. It literally crashed my YouTube. Yeah, it's crashing my brain cells as well. Did you make that model? Yes and no. I made the initial version of it in Vroid, and then Ghosty, who's a friend of mine, actually gifted me like a new version and redesigned it. And just like, you know, tweaked a couple of things, basically. It's just getting worse. Yeah, it really is, because like Avery herself hasn't been super assassinated as a character yet up until this point here. She's really dropping the ball now. I guess she did also agree to come back into her house, the one place they're going to think to consistently look, because they have done so. Which, now that I think about it, you know, if they were looking for humans this whole time, that must mean they must search like a bunch of other places, right? Including the well. And if that's the case, you haven't checked in the well yet, and they may or not have rescued those other those other exterminators, provided they're still alive and haven't starved again. If not, they found their corpses. So either way, you are very much a wanted woman, Avery, and should not be returning to this household. When I found Elliot, he was alone. So that means if he was alone and humans don't sprout from the earth, then I suppose. Make ones like yours want to check my work. I'm kind of in the middle of something right now, but I appreciate you attempting to network, but you know, time and place. We are you eavesdropping. Okay. That's 2. That's 2 there. Yeah. Oh, also, can I imagine if you go to school with people like asking if Marcy tells the school, which she probably will. She's got no reason not to. That's another point. So yeah, if Avery goes back to the school at any point after this point, she's even more of an idiot. Didn't mean to. But I came in saying I'm going to go to work. Okay, work, not school. So, alright, fine. I had to get more groceries. I guess it means she needs to go to work to make the money to get the groceries. Also, something in the freezer you need to see is the frozen heads of the exterminators. I made sure they wouldn't bother us anymore. Okay. Please keep an eye on Elliot. He's not doing so good. I told him to look in the freezer and he hasn't looked yet. Don't worry. It's a little obvious he's not doing so good. You're right, it is obvious. Why are we having this conversation? Bring me back Trixon, who I guess Wolf Kit Kat is a fellow Gacha Shipper who got an appearance in this series. This is once again around the time of the of either the fake collabs or Gacha was making much more frequent appearance in media. Which now I think about it, probably fell to the wayside with the advent of voice acting because it would require someone to voice the characters of those Gacha Shippers. That's why I don't have such prominent roles anymore. I guess that is one thing we sort of lost. I got to think of it, when I made Alpha Academy pretending I was another person, I actually included Gachibas for the first time. But put them in the uniforms of the school. That's why I had so many extras in the first episode. So yeah, I guess my non-voice acted endeavors have also ended up like that. So yeah, I guess so. All right then. The script Grammarly gets something. If Grammarly feels like it isn't correct, it probably is. Yeah. Or just in general, type out your type out like your text in something other than Gacha itself. Like, don't put it in directly. If you're so versed in making a script, just like type it out in something like even like Notepad or something or whatever. Notepad's not the best spell checker, but it exists. Most text-based apps have an inbuilt spell checker for this exact reason. And so then you can like figure out all this stuff. If you need to type it out and then copy paste it in. Or I guess technically if you're doing this on mobile, I guess it's more complicated to do it that way because you'd have to, because copy pasting requires like, shifting between like different apps that over on the screen. So yeah, I guess Google Docs is indeed free and is available on mobile. I can confirm this, but yeah, I don't know. Still requires copy pasting. Maybe that was too much for the Gacha tubers of old. I don't know. And sound effects. That was too much effort too. Oh, now he checks that. Oh, okay. All right. I went way darker than this. Yeah, of course, the ice cream. Going back to the beginning of the episode, that makes way more sense. Ah, yes, keep an eye on him. And by that, I mean go to an entire different room of the house. Also, that's also true. In fact, not only do you have an email for Google Docs, for YouTube, you have a Google account. So using Google Docs should be a cinch if that's the case. Elliot. I think if you see like on his face, he's like, yeah, he's definitely in a food coma of some kind. He has not earned that ice cream at all. Hope he bites his tongue a second time doing that. That was not so badly edited, actually. I have the smudge there disappearing. For Gacha Life 1, it's kind of the best you could do in that scenario. I don't feel good. Yeah, we established that. Thank you. How much ice cream did you eat? 11. Now, who can tell me where that reference is from? Go ahead, chat. I'm testing you. Hardly half a tub, like 11 bites. Half a wolf-sized tub, I assume, is the answer there. So that would be, again, the equivalent roughly of a full tub. Lord of the Rings? Bleventeen from Lord of the Rings? Nope. That's definitely incorrect. I think I'm thinking of 11sies, like the line that like they mentioned of like the different yeah. Didn't mean everyone to have to crash out. Oh, don't worry, I'm crashing out too. I'm just powering through. Oh, no, not that. No. The answer is Gravity Falls. The episode where they break into like an abandoned grocery store and Mabel overdoses on sugar, and she's like, "How much of this like stuff have you eaten?" 11. There you go. Maybe it's expired. Or maybe you shouldn't have a full tub of ice cream equivalent. Although I guess people do that, right? That's like the stereotype when someone like goes through a breakup, which they should do, but they haven't done. So yeah, I guess people are able to eat like full tubs of ice cream and not be, and not be like too far. But I imagine this doesn't feel. I guess they probably feel awful anyway at that point during like those breakup scenes in movies and TV shows and whatever. Oh yeah, I guess that is a good point. Yeah, Adele does have a semblance of a nose there. That's true. So yeah, it's not Gacha Life 1. Not it expires in 2 weeks. Avery, Elliot's throwing up, I don't know what or how, but I think it's been poisoned. Oh, is it like feeding your dog chocolate? He did say wolf food is different to human food for some reason. Like he has a much of a concept of a difference, but yeah. So maybe there's some ingredient in the wolf ice cream that they're able to digest that humans aren't. I guess that's possible. Also, yeah, like I said, it does a semblance of a nose, yes. As a former wolf, I suppose it would work, but like still, by my street rules. I'm on my way. Avery's on her way, no apostrophe, add one. Thank you. Thank you for actually, I mean, I guess this is also partly because actually showing as the editing vomit from a character is not easy, aside from rainbows, because that's why you should like their rainbows. Also in Gravity Falls, by the way. But yeah, like the censoring of this actually, that I think just using like the actual like green, like the green, like like green blush, and then smudging it on purpose, actually. But yeah, 100%. Yeah, Tato's Nightmare Daycare, which had to take painstaking efforts to show all of the various different fluids of differing natures. Not just that one that the characters went through. And yes, and the Aesthetic Prince definitely knew how to pull it off. It's definitely a case of, you could, but should you? And the answer is, to quote Horace Slughorn, still no, absolutely and unequivocally no. My stomach hurts so bad. Good, my head hurts thanks to you. Avery! We need to get him a doctor. I've been here for 2 seconds, and I know I need to get him to a doctor immediately. The only time that's ever worked, I think, for me is in an episode of Code Lyoko, where like if you know that show, the villain Xana finds different ways to attack humanity, basically. And in this one, which happens to also be the first full episode of the show I ever watched, there was a moment where there was this one the one of the main characters, Odd, ends up actually like through his headphones listening to like some deadly music or something, and then and like ends up fainting with his face like fully frozen like this, and taken to the infirmary, as is the obvious choice because they're in a boarding school. They have an infirmary immediately there, and within a few seconds of being there, the nurse goes, "Call the hospital." That's a nurse who knows what she's doing, was able to figure out that his heart was stopping to get him to a hospital. That's when it works, not when someone is like, "Oh no, look at that. He's vomiting," which is a fairly standard thing to happen, actually. We don't know if he's been poisoned yet, but we're gonna immediately jump to get him a doctor. But yeah. Which is also another thing here, is that a human gets captured. But now think about it, Adele herself is a scientist, and I believe was studying humans at one point. That's not a medical degree, but it's the closest thing you can get in this scenario that wouldn't risk the exposure. So that's what I would try first. Yeah, they'll turn him in. Exactly. Exactly right. What choice do we have? You know, wait to see if it filters out of his system because he's vomiting it out. That's the boy's defense. You know, figure out what his symptoms actually are, first of all. You know, see if Avery can see if Adele can do anything about it. You know, there's 3 options right off the top of my head. We need even 3 days. You know, because any space voyage takes 3 days to prepare, as we're all painfully aware of. Yes. Make as many ships as possible. As many ships as possible in 3 days. Are you off your meds, sir? And get as much military as you can. That's right. Call the military and arrange in the span of 72 hours to send them to space. You know, the territory that the military famously don't have jurisdiction over. It was like, I actually feel better now. Yeah, exactly. He just gets there and it's like, for some reason I feel better now, better now. I guess we can all head back into town, into town. And those exterminators take me down, take me down. But they can't do anything, no, they can't do anything. Okay. Rent past due. The quiet amount to keep rent is building. 10,000 of currency. There's no symbol there. 10,000 what? Florins? I've always wanted to be a vet and help animals. Oh. I want to be a vet and to help animals. I only have 2 days left to retire and no customer. Yeah, 2 days left for the rent, I know. I'm gonna please help us. Yes! You picked the one vet that was in a desperate enough situation to help without question. There you go, say even your hours works in this. That's especially bad because your hours was like an hour and a half long. And even it kept its plot more focused and consistent and constantly developing than this 10-minute video. He's been poisoned, allegedly, and OMG, what is that? That's not what you want to hear from a vet. If they haven't... Here's the thing. I know that vets, you know, help to cure, like, several different animals, like, various types of animals. Absolutely. You know, more power to them, because that sounds way more complicated than just focusing on the one animal, aka the human being. Great. However, if I go to a vet, you know, for like, I don't know, I don't like pets really, but if I did have a pet, I went to the vet, but you know, the vet, whose name is Yvette, goes to me and then there's me and goes, what the heck is that thing? I'm going to a different vet. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're not familiar with the animal you're treating, I don't think you should be treating it. You know, call me old-fashioned or whatever. It's very much like ever since you ran through town. If considering how fast Avery is, they probably didn't even notice. But also, it would depend on whether or not they realized she was like back in her house, like the idiot she is. And if they were like, you know, doing a stakeout or something, or still investigating, or they happened to catch her as she was passing by. Depending on how big the town is or whatever, you know, that could happen. There's plausible deniability. But also, yes, I'll pay you 12,000 florins. Indian rupees. Yeah, I'll pay you 12,000 rupees. Anyway, oh no, even better. I'll pay you 12,000 Icelandic krona. which equals like, I don't know, like $13 in American currency. Might be 130. Fine, go straight and take your right and place him on the bed. I'll be right there. What are you gonna do in the meantime? Is she gonna do like a fangirl celebration, like, like just like a customer? Thank you so much. Spoon doesn't have to have cameras, right? Oh yes, all over the place. We're doomed. Okay, so that was My Tiny Human episode 5, and everything that I feared remembering about the quality of the series from the first 3 episodes back in the day that was disproven by episode 4 has been reaffirmed by episode 5. Good lord, this was a downgrade. And it mostly came down to the actions of the characters. Because, yeah, episode 4 had its logical weirdness, absolutely. But that was like a couple of scenes at most, I think, from what I remember. And this one was just everything in sequence. Like, Elliot did not help his own case at all. That is his own survival that he is dealing with, is doing everything in his power to sabotage it. Not just for himself, but for Avery and also Adele, who is in equal jeopardy to him. Adele wasn't super bad in this one, apart from like not being able to get out of a bin, which I guess we found out later was twice her height, but still she could have easily knocked it over if it was empty. It wouldn't have been too much of a hassle. And also assuming that Avery and Elliot are a good couple, which brings me on to my other point. Avery and Adele are a horrible, horrible couple. And this episode was not the worst of their interactions, because every time that one of them pins down the other, I get that impression. Their worst, issues as a couple were, again, Elliot sabotaging himself, Avery's anger being justified, but also, and then just like that one scene where they make out briefly in front of Adele, which to me reads like the Gacha Shipper, given that title. The Gacha Shipper probably wanted a scene of the couple doing some coupley things and couldn't figure out how to put it into the script. There's a concept in creative writing called kill your darlings, which I was taught at university. And it's essentially saying that, if your scene or your plot point serves no purpose in the overall narrative, even if that purpose is to like endear us more to the characters or something, that still counts, like character moments or like offbeat moments or like sometimes things like moments that offset the darkness, those don't count. But I mean, if a scene is like utterly pointless and actively detracts from something that might be going on, get rid of it. That's the idea. Regardless if you're attached to it, like your personal bias as a writer is going to affect whether or not you keep something in. That's why it's called your darlings, right? Because, if a scene is darling to you, it might not be for someone else. That's also a good actual, idea for, what was it? I forgot what I was going to say now. I forgot what I was going to say. Pikachu's about to attempt by season 2 Q&A. Yeah, she might have got that from me, actually. And I, in turn, got that from one of my professors at university. Circle of life, basically. But yeah, overall, even what we are left with this time, it seems like, yeah, something is up, because essentially what happened this episode was, this is another thing in terms of like series versus episodic installments of something. There's no episode order, that's like seasonal order or something from YouTube, basically. My darling killer was making terrible, says Monty after. That's never going to happen. Honestly, that would have been really fun to to role play between myself. Like just like, oh wow, this is a thing apparently. Can I still? Am I in here? Oh no, we're sharing a bot again. It's another once again another FNAF situation. Oh well, okay, this is kind of weird. Yeah, I know, right? Imagine. Imagine. Sounds like a different alter ego. We got alter egos now, each other. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. That would have been fun. what was I saying overall? Yeah, Avery herself was still like fairly reasonable and on top of things until like halfway point, and then she get to making dumb decision of a dumb decision and going back to the one place he knows that they've found her twice before. At some point, you could almost say that she was banking on, or they were all banking on the idea that they wouldn't look in the house again after they'd already searched it, assuming there was no one there. Except the problem with that mentality is that they've already lost two exterminators in that location, and that there's an who searched their place to no avail. Meaning they are 100% not against going back there the second that new information comes to light. Like, for example, Avery was seen in a shop buying groceries and heading back to her own domicile. To use but one example off the top of my head. To make super emo scripts your dog was super depressing. That's also true. Yeah, that's a fair point. Secrets of the Plex is not the kind of show that, like, you know, offsets its dark with a lot of light. The best example of that being Sunny, actually. You know, I guess the shedding the lights, you know, sort of metaphorical. Which, speaking of that metaphorical, again, the aspect that I enjoyed most of all in this was just the brief interaction between Elliot's uncle, Marcus, that was his name, and Dr. Puggles. Because I don't think I realized they were a couple beforehand. I think it's like this reveal in this episode. Which, honestly, as far as natural position goes, not a bad way to go, not a bad way to do it. I do wonder, you know, what his priorities are in terms of keeping it a secret, because I can 100%, you know, understand keeping. Well, I say I can understand keeping it a secret. I don't favor it most of the time, but you know, hey, you know, there's the human realm and the equivalent of I suppose 2022 by my calculations. You know, if they were concerned about, you know, they're especially working together and also being a gay couple, then I get, you know, not being one to be super open, understandable. But even then, they're like I appreciate like their conflict as a couple, because like I said, the military and science are a difficult marriage in real life. Honestly, if I ever, like, you know, steal anything from this show, it's probably going to be that the idea of a couple comprised of a scientist and and some kind of like commander for the military in some way, because that dynamic is just ripe for personal conflict, but also ideological, and that's pretty juicy. So I hope we see more of them in the future, because right now I'm more invested in those two than I are about any of the main cast, unfortunately, including Adele, who was introduced last episode, who, you know, she's been getting more focused now, but she needs to kind of like, you know, wisen up to the issues that are going on, or do something with her own actual background and insight that she is perceived to have. So yeah. I'm upset because there's so much potential as a story. I can basically see this if we're heading. I'm saying what the family to season 2 will be like. Well, if that's still in development, and I know that a lot of them are watching this review, either right now or they will later. So yeah, by all means, depending on what happens between those two, between Marcus and Dr. Puggles, I would say I would love more focus on them, please, because I'm curious now. But I guess that will depend on like where it goes. Because ultimately, the main conclusion, yes, this was weird. Even plan on seeing a fan made. I mean, after this episode, I can see why you'd think that. I don't know. It depends, because episode 4 definitely proved that this series does have the potential to fix itself and to improve as time goes by. If anything, up until this episode, there was a little bit of like improvements. I rewatched like episodes 1 through 3 before watching episode 4. There was a sense of improvement over time, even if it was like very slow. So this one could very much be, you know, like a bad apple within the batch. So I guess we'll see. Yeah, it's bad when the two potential stories has the crash out. Yes, 100%. I mean, I'm sure they'll listen to our criticisms. You know, if they demanded these reviews so vehemently, the least they can do is hear us out. So I'm sure it's going to happen. But for now, I guess it is time to go. So I hope everyone enjoyed this one. And like I said before, if anyone wants to voice a maths teacher and have 3 lines in the Mutant Girl, let me know. Hit me up. And we'll go over the details if there aren't that many, because it's, again, a character with 3 lines in one scene. So yeah, my DMs are always open for that. But for now, please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. And subscribe if you've done so already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.